We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday's Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.
In this episode, we're going to take it to the sidelines. We're going to go over some of the top coaches who have the best winning percentage in NFL of all time. There may be some prizes on our list, but listen in and see who we picked. Coming up in just a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of PigskinDispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pigpen, your portal to positive football history. And we have some great football history we're going to talk about today. Changing gears just a little bit from what we normally do and what most people do, we're going to talk about the coaches of the game, and in particular, the NFL. Now, recently, I downloaded some coaching statistics from the ProFootballReference.com. Excellent site, as well as all of the Reference.coms and StatHead sites. Get a lot of information from them. They are top notch in what they have for all their records. I highly recommend ProFootballReference.com. In doing so, I came across a couple of really interesting items that we can post. One is the career winning percentage leaders of NFL coaches. Now, there are a handful of what I would guess are interim coaches that are undefeated with one or two, maybe two games under the belt, maybe three, so they haven't lost a game. And I'll probably write something up on them at a later date. But the topic point I wanted to look at for this post is the top winning percentages of NFL head coaches that have a minimum of 40 games. Now, the data used is from the 1920 season all the way through 2021 season, so about 102 years of NFL football, 2 years of the APFA. Okay, I'm sorry, 100 years of NFL and 2 years of APFA, to be technical, you sports football historians. I found the results to be most interesting and, to me, surprising in a couple of cases. Now, I'm going to start off and give you the top 12. Number 12 coming in is the man with the most wins in NFL history as of right now in 2022, before the football season starts. That's Don Shula, who had a record of 328, 156, and 6 for an 677 record, 67% of his wins. Coach at the end of the 2021 season had the most NFL victories, like we said, and he had won NFL titles in Baltimore and Miami, and even lost a handful of other championship games as well in the NFL. So a pretty good one. Number 11 on the list is one that's recently had some great success, Sean McVay. His record right now, as of 2021 season's ending, is 55, 26, and 0 ties for a 679 winning at percentage average. And he may just be getting started. At 36 years and 5 seasons in the NFL as a head coach so far, he has won a Super Bowl, lost another one, and had some outstanding players on his roster, as we had seen, Aaron Donald, who can forget him, and some of the other great ones, Matthew Stafford, and tremendous players. George Halas comes up number 10, 148, 31, for an 0682, 40 years of coaching the franchise that he owned. He led Chicago to 6 APFA/NFL titles and only 6 seasons where his team went below 500. There are a few seasons during, I believe, during World War II, I know definitely he missed a few years where he went to serve his country in the armed forces. So we thank George Halas for that. He also, I believe, battled in World War I before he got into professional football, ended up playing in some military teams that played in a Rose Bowl. Ray Flaherty, it comes in at number 9. 80, 37, and 5 was his record. 684 is a winning percentage. He coached for 12 seasons from 1935 through 1949 in the NFL AAFC. The Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, and the Chicago Hornets. Coach the AAFC's Chicago franchise and still make this list? Well, that is pretty impressive because the Chicago Hornets, Chicago Rockets, whatever you want to call them in the AAFC, were not a very good team. You can look back at our great podcast episode we had with Joe Ziemba when he talked about the Chicago team of the AAFC. We went through each and every AAFC team. Make sure you check out those. Have some great guests that we talked to, including Joe Ziemba, talked about Chicago. Blanton Collier, number 8 on our list, 76, 34, and 2, 0691 record. Assistant coach of Cleveland under the great Paul Brown, and then he adopted the squad that Brown built. His team won the 1964 NFL championship, and he too never had a losing season in 8 years as the head man of the Browns. Tommy Hewitt, another guy that never had a losing season. 34, 15, and 7. 694 is his record. Legendary player coach of the Buffalo All-Americans from 1920 through 1924. And his teams arguably should have had at least one APFA NFL title in there. You can listen to some of our friends, like Ken Crippen, Greg Tranter, and Jeffrey Miller talking about those great Buffalo teams. And they really believe, and I think they might be right, that Buffalo sort of got schmozzled out of a championship or two, and by one of them by George Halas, I think, if you look back at the records. Number 6 coming in is Jim Harbaugh, 44, 19, and 1 for 0695. As an NFL boss, he led the San Francisco 49ers for 4 seasons from 2011 through 2014, going to 3 NFC Championship games and losing Super Bowl number 47 to his brother, John's Baltimore Ravens. Some great coaches there in the Harbaugh brothers. George Allen comes in at number 5, 116 wins, 47 losses, 5 ties for an 07-12 record. As the head coach of the LA Rams and Washington Redskins for a total of 12 seasons, his squads in the NFL never had a losing season. He signed on a lot of veterans. That was his motto. Get rid of the rookies, sign the veterans, play some smart football. Vince Lombardi comes in at number 4, 96, 34, and 6 for a 738 winning percentage. And what can we say about this coach? He adopted a 1-10 team in 1959 and won 5 NFL titles in the 9 years after that, and has the NFL's championship trophy named after him, the Lombardi Trophy, for the team that wins the Super Bowl. Vince Lombardi, great coach. Number 3 is a gentleman that just passed away, John Madden, 103, 32, and 7 for 759. He was a lot more than just a video game, kids. His brilliant coach took up an up-and-coming team from Oakland, from the AFL, and took him into the NFL and won Super Bowl 11 and the Lombardi Trophy in doing so, and had some great games along the way, and played a lot of AFL championship games, AFC championship games. Tremendous coach, John Madden. Okay, now these next 2, maybe you're surprised, maybe not. Number 2 coming in is Guy Chamberlain, 58, 16, and 7, 784 winning percentage, and he was the coach that took multiple teams to the early league championships. Canton in 1923, Cleveland in 1924, and the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets in 1926. And I believe he also took second place in the NFL, the runners-up to the championship. There was no championship game back in those early days. Did not come in until a little bit later. But Guy Chamberlain, a lot of second-place finishes as well as those championships. And number 1 on our list, and this is kind of a surprise, or maybe not, Matt LaFleur, Green Bay Packers coach, 39 and 10 for a 796 winning percentage, and it does not hurt a bit adopting a stud quarterback like Aaron Rodgers from the previous regime and taking it in to put your offense in. Who can go wrong there? Just Some tremendous wins there. Now, we had some other coaches that were under consideration, didn't quite make our top 12. You might be wondering about. Let's just go through them real quick. Paul Brown, a 672. Bill Belichick, a 67% winning percentage. Tony Dungy, just under 67%. Jim Lee Howe, 66.3. Roy Andrews, 65.4. George Seifert, 60.648. Red Miller, 645. Mike Tomlin, 643. Andy Reid, 633. Curly Lambeau, 631. Sean Payton, 631. Mike Vrabel, 631. Barry Switzer, 625. Bruce Arians, 624. Mike Martz, 624. Bill Cowher, 623. Bud Grant, Joe Gibbs, and Buck Shaw, all with a 621 winning percentage. And that rounds up our great coaches there. And for the winning percentage, we'll come back at a later time and go over some coaches with the most games won. And there's not as many surprises there. If you have any comments or like some feedback to give us, you can email us at pigskindispatch@gmail.com. Always can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Pigskin Dispatch. And until tomorrow, everybody, have a great gridiron day. We're taking a peek over at the chains and the down marker. It's 4th and long. We're going to have to punt the ball and get on out of here, but we'll have another series tomorrow for your football history headlines, so be sure to tune in. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast. PigskinDispatch.com is a proud affiliate of the Sports History Network, the headquarters of sports yesteryear.
It was just another ordinary day in the offices of the Pittsburgh Guardian newspaper circa 1924. But for Marla Delft, assistant editor, everything was about to change. For she was about to discover the awesome attractiveness of Row 1 brand retro sports paraphernalia items thanks to Orville Mulligan, sports writer.
And there it is.
Wow, Orville, that's really the bee's knees.
Isn't it just? A poster-sized replica of the actual 1909 World Series program cover.
I can see that. But where did you get it? And where'd you get it framed?
I ordered it from the Row 1 website, where over 6,000 items of sports memorabilia from the 1880s to the 1990s are available for reproduction, in multiple sizes and in several different materials, with over a dozen styles of frame to choose from for prints like this.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Delft would love to put up more of these in the office. But I'm equally as sure they're beyond this newspaper's budget.
Not at all, my dear Marla. See for yourself. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. Oh my, these are good prices. Oh, and look at this stuff. Oklahoma-Nebraska football, college basketball art, Michael Jordan items.
And so
retro
it was that
sports
Marla Delft
advertisement
discovered the
flowers.
splendiferous magic of Row 1 sports memorabilia, arts, and prints. You can too by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. That's ROW1 today for access to the full Row 1 catalog of gallery prints and gifts like t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, telephone cases, coffee mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Act today for 15% discount off all prints with coupon code SHN15 and 20% off all other items with coupon code SHN20 at checkout. And keep your dial locked to the Sports History Network for the exciting chronicles of the 1920 sports world in Orville Mulligan, sports writer. Coming soon.